Beyonce released Cowboy Carter this year.
And you're saying that's the best music?
No, I'm not saying it's the best music. I'm saying it's the best.
Oh my God.
Listen, what? Welcome back to the Decibels podcast. I'm your host, Brianna, and I'm here with
Addie,
my co-host. Obviously, we're brought to you by Black Music Canada, and we're a podcast for Black women by Black women. Isn't that amazing how that works? And today we are going to be talking about, is the music industry oversaturated? Specifically, has TikTok made the music industry oversaturated with mediocrity? Addie, what do you think? Do you think that artists of today are becoming a lot more mediocre? Or do you think it's the opposite? Maybe we're discovering more and more cooler artists.
I mean, I think we're definitely like finding more cooler artists, but there are a lot of artists who basically,
like who,
are just, ooh, you want me to call people out?
I say, like, let's stand on it. Who?
Ooh, okay. No, I support women, so I'm not gonna call them out. You know what?
We support women. But I mean, do you think TikTok is ruining the music industry?
I think it could. It really could. I feel like
or is it already?
I don't think it's already doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Sorry.
I don't think we're there yet.
Really?
It's not the worst of the worst yet.
Oh, I wonder what the worst of the worst looks like to you. Like,
I mean, because I feel like we still are finding pretty good artists on there.
Yeah.
And it's like the number one thing for me is just like the fact that there are artists who work their butt off to
That's
like
true.
get on top, and then you just come over here with 1-2 TikToks that blow up, and you're like, oh, let me make some music, let me capitalize on this, and yeah, you're a star. And there's other people who have been grinding for years and they're still, not where they want to be.
So you think it's ruining the industry?
It is ruining.
Do you think it's sending the wrong people into stardom? Like, it's catapulting the wrong people into stardom?
I wouldn't say that, because I feel like some of these people are good people and do kind of deserve their platform, even though they came up in a,
So as long as they're a good person, that doesn't say anything about their music, though.
Oh, so you were saying in terms of, like, ask that question again?
Like, is TikTok catapulting the wrong people into stardom?
So you mean in terms of their music?
Yeah, in terms of their music. Lots of people are good people. That's not what we're talking about here.
I mean, I feel like if they were the wrong people, they wouldn't become famous.
Hold on. I know you didn't just say that.
No, because
I know you didn't just say that.
It's like, if we're talking about in terms of their music, I feel like their music has to have something about
you would think
that would make them blow up. You don't think it, like, anything?
Well, I mean, whenever we talk about Ice Spice, you certainly don't feel that way.
See, I didn't want to bring her up this episode, but you know what?
I'm just saying.
I still don't think...
Because she did blow up on TikTok, technically.
Yeah, she did. Not technically, 100%. I don't think, like, her music is that horrendous that she shouldn't have blown up. I feel like she speaks to a certain group of people.
But I mean, it's kind of, in this day and age, just with technology, it's kind of hard to make a bad song. I think you have to go out of your way to make a bad song.
I feel like with our job, we hear a lot of artists, and that's not true just from everyone that we hear. Like, we hear a lot of artists. So
okay, let's cool it on that one. Let's cool it on that one. Guys, keep sending her stuff. Okay.
But my point is that I don't think that's true. I feel like I still hear a lot of bad music, even though they think that they're
But I never think
amazing.
It's horrendous.
I think you're lying right now.
No. I never think it's horrendous. One second. I never think it's horrendous. Okay? I see the effort. I see, listen, let's refocus back to the original topic. Is TikTok ruining the music industry? It's got to be a yes or no.
What do you think?
I think a lot of people would say yes, that TikTok is ruining the music industry because of the way, not of the way a lot of newer artists are being found on TikTok and blowing up immediately off of TikTok. I actually think what people would argue is that it's altering the way pre-existing artists make their music nowadays. And a lot of people are saying these artists are relying on, you know, like catchy enough hooks that they know for sure will trend on TikTok, specifically like hooks that have, you know, just like a
something that's like popular, something that's
like a hook that has like a trendy word in it, or like a trendy kind of slang in it that's being used on TikTok a lot already, and then people will use it and be like, oh, like, this artist used this word, like, isn't that so funny, like, that's crazy, they're on TikTok too. And, you know, people are saying it's degrading music, and it's watering it down to the point where people are just sort of doing TikTok speak in their songs because they need it to go viral on TikTok. However, I would say TikTok has granted a lot of people a kind of accessibility that, you know, previous platforms haven't given. And I think it's made us discover a lot of great new artists, especially for me, and no shade or anything, but I feel like when people complain and like, oh, there's so many like annoying artists on TikTok and their music is bad, I'm like, that's your For You page. It's for you. Like, I don't know what to say. You might just have bad taste in music. That's getting rude. It's getting rude. But I'm saying, if you want good music, you have to go out and find some good music. You have to like curate your TikTok page. You have to tailor it. You have to search. I'm sorry, but you have to put in a little bit of work to find some great artists. And there's tons out there. But guys, like, seriously, just not everything you need to go to Billboard 100 and like that's it. That's like your full scope of music, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Do a little research. Come on.
I think I agree with you. I think I found like a lot of really great artists on TikTok, and I'm not ashamed of it, you know, because people act like it's crazy too. Oh my God, you only know him from TikTok and like, so what? Like, sometimes you even find an artist in their early stages from TikTok.
Yes,
from their posts.
I found Chapel Roan.
Oh, really?
In her like earliest stages. I found her off of Pink Pony Club, and I didn't even know, like, when the rest of her songs started trending on TikTok, I didn't know those were her songs. I just only knew her from Pink Pony Club, and I didn't even realize until she came out with like Good Luck Babe. And I came across her video on TikTok where she was like advertising the lyric video to it, like it wasn't even out yet. And I was like, oh my God, this song is so good. And I went and I checked it out, and I like went through her discography, and I was like, this is the same girl that sang Pink Pony Club. What the hell? So I was like, I was like listening to her music, and I was like, this is so good. And then she blew up, and I was like, guys, I have such an ear for music. Right? I have such an ear.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with finding music from TikTok. There's nothing wrong with people blowing up from TikTok, especially somebody like that who has been making music for, you know.
Did you see her VMAs performance?
No.
No, it's actually insane. She's like dressed up in real armor, like knight armor, and she like starts it by coming out of the stage with like a flaming crossbow, and she shoots it.
She does give me like,
she's insane, and I love it.
From the movies Brave.
Yes,
she gives me her vibes.
Skip that. Chaperone, I love you, girl. Anyways.
But yeah. Yeah, so I feel like finding artists from TikTok is not a bad thing, and then blowing up like more, like especially when they've been working hard, it's not like, that's a good thing. Like,
and before it was TikTok, it was YouTube.
Exactly. People would blow up from like doing covers and stuff, and
all the time. Miss Ariana Grande, Miss Ari, she was on that. She was clocking into YouTube singing those Mariah Carey covers. Come on, guys.
Even during the Vines, Shawn Mendes, like,
oh my God.
And we have no issues with that.
Listen, guys, I have to say something. I hate acoustic guitar, and Shawn Mendes was on that vine, clocking in every single goddamn day.
How do you hate acoustic guitar?
Don't.
So if like any of your favorite songs had like an acoustic,
I hate it. I don't listen to songs with acoustic guitar on it. If I hear a strum,
really?
oh
So that
my
means you
God.
would not listen to any country music.
Maybe if you like hit my head
Okay.
with the guitar, hit the back of my head with the guitar, maybe, and I was slumped over in my chair, unconscious, then yeah, you could play some country music in my ear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. So, we have a clip. We have a clip that kind of actually from one of our other shows on Black
We're
Music
starting
Canada.
beef right now, guys.
I don't think so.
No, we're not.
I think
we're actually agreeing with them.
pastor versus producer. We have a clip.
We're finally in agreement on something. Yeah, usually we're beefing, but I think these guys made a good point on the music industry of today and why a lot of people are maybe opting out from modern artists, going back to the old school stuff, you know, the oldies.
Now, getting back to artists creating music that has staying power. I think that has died for the most part. For the most part. And I think that music listeners are kind of rebelling and going back to older music because it had a lot of staying power. It had a lot of depth. It had a lot of emotionality. And, you know, it speaks to them. I don't know if, you know, you feel the same.
No, I feel the same. A kid will blow up on TikTok off of a song, and then a label will sign them for just that one song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then they will, like, because they'll know how to exploit it, like, profit-wise. To, like,
Right on. Okay.
you know, they'll have all the connections to, like, syncing it in commercials and all these things. Like, they have relationships with the agencies and all that stuff. So, like, I feel like labels are into that business model because, like, we know we can make money off of this because we know there's an audience there.
Yeah, I mean, Chris has a point about labels using people who have already blown up, specifically on TikTok, and using them to make them into artists and, you know, make like profit off of them basically, because they don't really have to make them into artists. They already blew up as an artist. All you really have to do is just like sign your name under them and
then like help them distribute
yeah
so
like,
it's a lot easier. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, before then they had to go scouting and then like, you know, media training, and then like you have to have this look and you have to sing like this and we're gonna blah 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 blah. But nowadays I don't need to get you any, like, I don't need to pay for any advertisement. You've already advertised yourself.
Just post to TikTok.
Just post it on TikTok. Like, what do I need to pay you for?
So, yeah. Another thing about that, and I'm going to literally take this out because I'm going to look it up to make sure this is actually true.
Okay.
But if it's wrong, I will cut it out. But I'm pretty sure I heard from TikTok that, you know, like, some of these artists, I mean, well, not artists, people blow up from like one song, especially like, you know, the girl who made that song that was like, it wasn't really a song, she just said it and then people like made it into a song where she was like, I need a guy in finance 6'5".
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So basically that was made into a song and then she was signed to a label.
Really?
And, yeah, for that one song. And
because they know that, okay, and that's like the cruel part. You can continue though.
No, I think you might be, you go on. Because
I think that's like the cruel part, because obviously does anyone know this girl? Or I'm saying like they're getting people and they're being like, quit your job, like just come and sign with us, you're gonna be fine. Because they're just riding your high. And once they profit off of that high, they are going to drop these people, and these people are going to find themselves poor,
yes,
and out of work, and it's predatory.
It is. And I heard that it's kind of like when you sign like a book deal, so you get like, you know, like your signing bonus or whatever, and it's like quite a bit of money, and like then if you use that money on, you know, like whatever, like you're like, oh, I'm gonna be an artist, and you use that money to you know, get your studio space, get all of this stuff, but you don't make back that money from the bonus or whatever, you're gonna have to pay that back.
You have to pay that back.
So
you're in debt.
basically,
you're in debt to this giant music company that's probably adding on interest for all of the time that you're not paying
they're
it back.
preying on regular people so that they would have people to pay them, basically. That's long term, and interest on top of that,
basically locking you into a contract.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be an artist, and everyone that comes to like, do it, sign the, you know, like, it's kind of sad. It's
and
sick.
there are artists today, like lots of artists today have talked about, like, established artists. I think who was it? Wasn't it like Frank Ocean? And he was like, my music label just is horrible, and they were like forcing me to do this and this, and that's why he like went on live stream or something and played his songs, and that technically counted as like an album, and that's the only way he could get out of his contract, something like that. But and there was like Megan Thee Stallion. She was having that whole issues with her past record label, and they weren't like allowing her to release this and weren't allowing her to do that. There were artists, so like I'm saying, very established artists who were like, my record label like literally has me by the throat right now.
They get you with the contract. Like, if you don't properly, like, they're just preying on people, basically. And people are like, okay, this is my chance. Like, I can't say no. But then they lock you into like an impossible place. Like, I was even looking recently a video.
I mean, even with like Taylor Swift, she had to re-record
all her songs,
literally all her like a decade's worth of songs. I am telling you, if these established artists are struggling with their own record labels, what do you think what do you think is happening to just a random person on TikTok?
Right. There was this artist, Mike Posner.
Mike Posner,
you know him?
Yeah.
He sang I took a pill and I beat that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Did you see the video?
I did see that video.
Where he was like, basically, like, he did 2 songs that blew up, and then the third one didn't really do well, and the one after didn't do that well. So then he was there just making music, but he wasn't allowed to release it because they were like, it's not worth it to do this whole thing, actually release this music, do all the promo. There's no point because you're not blowing up like you did with your first 2 songs. So he had all these songs. And he was like, the only way he could make money from it was to sell them. So like the song, If I Was Your Boyfriend, like, that's his song, but he sold it to Justin Bieber because they wouldn't let him release his music. And it's just sad because I'm sure he could have had some hits, but they're like, they didn't let him. And it's like, they're like, if you don't make a hit, then you're done.
Yeah. And it's like, how the hell am I supposed to make a hit? That's not something you can
orchestrate.
Yeah, you can't really, or you can try, you can definitely try your best with like promoting and marketing and all of that, but at the end of the day, people don't want to listen. They're just not going to listen.
And the thing is, the ones that just didn't do as well. They still did exceptionally well, like really well. But just because they weren't at the top, like,
because it's always like it has to outperform the last. Otherwise, you're on a downward trend. Exactly. And you're basically signaling to your record label that you can't bring any more money than when you started.
That's exactly it.
But, I mean, do you think this is TikTok's fault then? Is it just, again, the record label's fault?
I mean, it's definitely the record labels are profiting off the issue, but it is TikTok. Like, without TikTok, you know, people.
I just think without TikTok, they would have less of a pool to choose from. I think right now they have more than a pool. They got what I'm saying. A whole ocean, and I think they're just kind of every year they're just like dipping in and scooping up whatever, and like whatever's in the net they're just using, and it kind of feels like right now the music industry is maybe just taking whatever and like throwing it at a wall and hoping that it sticks.
Basically. Because it's like, they have so much of a pool, like they have so many options now. It's like,
and that goes back to what John was saying, there's no staying power, because to be honest, do you have to stay? Like, do you have to stay?
Because the amount of money they could make from just from pumping out these one-hit wonders
instead of like really settling down with one artist and like,
what's the point when they could just do this?
Career. I don't think it's making music worse. I think people are saying it's making music worse because they're focusing too much on Billboard Hot 100 and they're focusing too much on the charts and like what's trending. There are a lot of great musicians out there who are releasing great songs that I am finding on TikTok. I mean, guys, should I do a little shout out right now? Hold on. I'm about to open up my Spotify. They're not Canadian, guys. I'm so sorry. But still, like, listen to them. Okay, hold on. Magdalena Bay. She's great. Raven Lene. Listen to her as well.
Oh, we did the video. We did the past versus producer on her.
Isn't she amazing?
Yeah.
She's amazing. Guys, listen to her, like, recent album, Bird's Eye. Absolutely wonderful. I do think that we are, like, I truly believe 2024 was, like, the best year for music we have had in a minute. I genuinely think that music has been... I'm so sorry, but just, like...
In what way has this year been good, though?
Addie, like everyone was releasing their albums back to back to back to back. We were fed fully. We were fed and then we had dessert on the side. And then we had a sweet treat afterwards walking home. That's how fed we were. We were fed like it was Thanksgiving. Dinner.
Okay.
Yeah. With the apple pie afterwards. And a little scoop of ice cream on top.
Okay.
Maybe a dash of cinnamon.
I get it.
That's how fed we were.
I don't agree.
They were rolling us out the door.
I mean,
That's
albums were coming out, but did I enjoy them?
You're joking. So many, like I just said, like Magdalena Bay, Raven, like, and it's not even just her. There was didn't Beyonce release Cowboy Carter this year? There was...
And you're saying that's the best music?
No, I'm not saying it's the best music. I'm saying it's the best
my
we've
God.
had. Listen, what year... Okay, within the past, like... Okay, guys, I'm going to say something. Within the past, like, since... What should I say?
2016.
I would say...
Or 2018, maybe.
The last good year of music we've had has been probably, 2016. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. It was bad, bro. It was bad. Back to back, it was bad.
I agree.
We were like truly starving. We were in our starving years. I'm talking panhandling with the empty can. Like, please, please, please. I'm talking, we were doing rain dances for some water because we were all dehydrated. We couldn't even get a sip of water. Like, that's how starving we were for music. And I'm saying 2024, it's like everybody was like, oh my God, like, I just remember what a note is. Hello? And everyone started releasing their albums. I'm telling you, like, 2024, this has been like the year for music.
Okay.
I'm gonna prove it.
That's
Guys,
your opinion.
after this, I'm literally pulling up Spotify.
And
I'm actually about to go insane. I'm about to play every single album.
I don't think I will agree with you. But
why don't you agree?
I'm waiting for that
there
year
was
that
tons of Afrobeats artists as well. They were going crazy this year. Yes, they were, Addie. Yes, they were.
Like, I heard good music, but was it the best year?
Kalani, she released twice this year. It's been a beautiful year. Charlie XCX, that's like a great like techno beat, like whatever album. That was like great for their genre. I'm saying like every genre, like they all got something this year. Usually the years it's like, okay, this is like a pop year. This is like a rap year. But this has been like everyone has got Kendrick Lamar and the Drake beef.
Probably
that
like,
was great
that
for music too.
Great. That's the only thing I would like maybe chalk it up to. But apart from that, nothing really else stood out.
2016. Since 2016, this has been like the year for music. And it might be even better next year. I hope it's better next year, but considering that everyone has released this year, I fear that 2025 is going to be dry. Oh my God, 2025 is going to be a dry spell. But you know what? I also think it's going to be such a great opportunity for newer artists to step into the spotlight because none of the big artists are going to be releasing. They already did that. Ariana Grande released this year. Okay. Taylor Swift, to some people's dismay, released this year. You're like, it's going worse as you name these people. It's not going worse. I'm saying
Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift.
Ariana Grande. Addie. Ariana Grande. I'm not saying, okay. For one, I am saying yes, Miss Ariana Grande. Listen Listen to Eternal Sunshine. It's an amazing album. Generally, I would say it's like top 3 of her albums.
I will not be doing that.
You're a hater. Yes, you don't like Taylor Swift. That's fine. A lot of people don't like Taylor Swift. All I'm saying is that she also released this year. In terms of like just music, maybe even just music quantity, we have had so much hits this year. It's actually insane. And I'm very happy and I'm very proud. Okay. Since 2016. Guys, if there has been a better music year from 2016 to 2024, in between those years, if any of those years has been better in music, let us know. Because quite frankly, I can't recall a single song between those years.
I'm still waiting for the year because I still don't feel like this year was it. So we'll see.
You just don't. Fine. Maybe 2025.
Maybe.
I could see it because a lot of newer artists definitely are gonna be taking the spotlight, taking the stage.
Yeah, so we're talking about how record labels aren't investing in artists long term anymore. So we have a video that kind of speaks about that.
Before the internet was so heavily democratized and everyone and their mama could blow up with a hit song within like a couple days or a week on the internet, record labels were the gatekeepers of all resources. And what they would do is they would take a heap of money and throw it at radio, throw it at TV placements like James Gordon or like certain shows where artists would be performing. They'd throw that money to buy on tours. They'd throw that money for huge billboard placements. And essentially that was the social proof to convince folks, yo, look at this artist. They are everywhere on earth right now. They must be hot. This is the artist I should be paying attention to right now and buying into. And very much so, as you can imagine, they completely controlled the attention economy. And that's where we're still kind of under this like misconception that record labels create superstars. You ever hear artists that are like, if I was just signed to a record label, I'm gonna tell you what, I would be out of here. Absolutely not, Jimmy. And now fast forward to 2023 and we're in a song economy, a sound economy where music listeners are so passively listening to music, they could care less about artist brands. They're not even connected to artist brands or considering who is behind the music they're listening to. And why would you care about this concept of an artist brand? Because artist brands bridge the gap between the artist messaging, authenticity, and the connection to the fan that basically builds that sustainability, right?
I was definitely agreeing with a lot of her first points, but I did have a disagreement about people listen to music so passively that they don't care about artist brands. Well, you know, actually that might be true, but I think it's the artist brand that's making the artist famous. Yes, your music can get famous. I'm splitting them up from each other. Yes, your music can get popular and be played, and that's what people will listen to passively. But for you yourself to be like famous, it is actually your brand that people are paying attention to.
When she said artist brand, I was thinking more of like the kind of profile like their record label is kind of putting together for them, like not like in terms of their personal brand, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like what she's trying to say is that, for example, on TikTok, you want to know that person, you want to know what type of person that is, like,
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I think that's what you meant, and people definitely value that. But I think she's talking about like how the record label kind of perceives you, like not your personal, like, oh, I'm just talking to you like I'm a normal person. This is me. This is the real me. The what's it called? The record label like brand of you would be like, oh, she's this rock punk chick and she's always with cigarettes and she always
like, that's what I mean. I think that's what makes you famous.
But
like with Sabrina Carpenter, she got really popular because she was doing those like funny, catchy little like where she would change the lyrics to the end of her song. The label, she had like this brand to her where it was like cutesy and a little bit like a country thing. That's what I mean. And she had like the big like blonde hair and the bangs and that girl had a blowout like constantly 24/7. I don't know.
So you think that would make people
Yeah, I think having a look to you. Same thing with Chapel Roan. People were always like, she's so artsy. Same thing with Doja Cat. When Doja Cat started popping up, people were like, oh my God, like, she's so cool. She does this, she does that. She's so interesting. You have to have something to sell yourself
because
off of. I mean, like,
I agree, but I don't know, because for me, for example, what's that girl's name? Olivia Rodrigo
also has a look. It's like a teenage.
Let me talk, girl. Sorry. Jesus. Okay, so she has like this vibe about her where I feel like it's like kind of like pop punk or pop, you know, kind of. And then she has like she's like wearing like the rocker, like the like black nails, and then the kind of like the what's it called, the mini skirts, and it's she has that look. But if you go on her TikTok and you listen to her speak, she just seems like a sweet, normal human being. So I just feel like there's a difference between your personal brand and then your what's called the brand that your record label or whatever that is putting out there. So I feel like the personality that would go with her whole look, like, would be like, oh, I'm so rock punk, like I don't care about nothing and all that kind of stuff. But who she actually is this like really sweet person, and you know, kind of dorky, kind of quirky. And I feel like people resonate more with that than just because she wears mini skirts and she has black nails, if you get what I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah. That's my vibe anyway.
I guess people would resonate more with your actual personality more than your brand look, but I feel like you need a brand look. Yeah,
you definitely need one.
I don't think you can ride off of your personality for too long. And I wouldn't say most, but a lot of artists say that they don't like to do it because it makes people think that they're friends. And it feeds like the parasocial whatever. So
I agree, but it's like, if you're just making TikToks, if you're just doing like normal stuff, like, you should be able to do that. Like, just because you're famous doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to like just post regular stuff, because people are gonna think you're friends. I mean, is what it is. That's life.
Hey, it's not my fault you're a creep.
Exactly.
So yeah, then they basically just don't want to make a brand out of the artist anymore. They want the artist to already come with their own brand, with their own personality, with their own music that they've already made, and basically ride off of that. And I know some people might say, well, why don't people just become like indie artists, like independent artists? Do you know how much it costs to be an independent artist? I saw a TikTok the other day where this girl was saying like, oh yeah, it cost me like $13,000 to do the distribution alone. What?
Yeah.
You still, either way, like, you still need money from somewhere or
it's
from
coming
someone.
Out of your pocket, so it's not easy.
It's not easy at all. That's just distribution. Imagine touring out of your country.
It's literally impossible. Like, unless you're already rich, there's just like no way. Like,
remember the last time you planned a vacation and how long and difficult and stressful that was?
Venues, every security. There's so much stuff that goes into it. So
and now you have to do that like 20 times.
I feel like there's still obviously people who are waiting for their big break. Like, she said that, like, it's not that easy, where it's just like, once I get a record label deal, I'm done. Like, I'm good. It's not that easy anymore. And I feel like that's kind of sad, because I feel like, there's a lot of people still waiting for their big break. And it's like, will it ever come unless you're already a TikTok influencer? Will it ever, like, like, I mean, obviously you should be trying to like put out your brand before you kind of like blow up or whatever, or get a deal. But at the same time, there's people who are just trying to go off straight off their talent, and in this day and age, that's just not possible.
And not everyone is like wants to be on TikTok advertising their song every single day. Not like every musician is like at the same time like a talk show host and is very like open and funny, and they can like catch an audience that way. Some of them are really just like, I'm just want to do the music. I'm just a music person. Like, I just want to play my piano and sing. Like, I want people to hear my music because I make good music. I don't want to have to parade myself like around just to be able to, you know, appeal to people. Like, I feel like that's kind of what Doja Cat was saying.
I get it. It's like before, like, I feel like it was easier to just go off of talent. Like, people were like, if you're good at making music, even if you're a bit standoffish or whatever, or you're shy, because, you know, artists can be shy, but
Back then it was easier.
It was easier, but now it's like, no, you've got to put the work in. You got to make them TikToks.
I think it's also because the record labels know that they're going to have to advertise this artist on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just get them from TikTok?
Exactly. Get somebody who is already doing that instead of trying to like teach somebody or force somebody to do it. It makes more sense
because
that way.
Back then, like he was talking, like Pastor John was talking about the old school artists and whatever. Yeah, they got to put all that time and effort and talents into their music because they didn't have to be paraded around 24/7 like that. At least not all of them. And they didn't have to make TikToks every day and Instagram posts and things like that. They just performed.
They just made music. They just,
yeah.
It was about the music. But today it's not really about the music, like completely. So much more. Yeah. We have an artist who has been making music for a while, who really puts the work into her music. And every song is a banger. Like, I don't think I've heard one song of hers that I don't like. What do you think?
She makes incredible music, and she actually just released an album a little while ago called A Kid from Toronto. And if you guys are already familiar, yes, we are in fact talking about Kalisway. She is an incredible funk artist based here in Toronto, Canada. And do we have a song?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. No one else can do it like me, 'cause I'm just a superstar. When I drive my whip and I drive my car, no, it ain't fine. Bitches always like me, 'cause I know just who you are. When you drive real fast, you going far, just like a superstar.
I love that.
And see how that also came out this year.
Yeah.
2024 has what, guys? Been an amazing year for music. Thank you for finishing my sentences. See how we're locked in like that?
But yeah, I also kind of like how her vibe is kind of giving me kind of 80s vibes.
Yeah, she does like funk music. Yeah.
I like that because we were talking kind of about where Pastor John was talking about how people gravitate to older music. And I feel like maybe artists are even trying to,
do you
tap back into that.
That's how we're gonna solve this problem of modern artists? Like,
honestly, because if you think about it, in art and in like style, like fashion style and different things, it's always kind of like a cycle where stuff become popular again.
That's true.
So why can't that be the same with music? I think looking back so far, it's always been kind of different. But this could solve our issue. Just let's go back to our roots, let's go back to what was doing well, what we consider good music.
Guys, you heard it here first. Addie is a conservative and she believes in traditionalist values.
I don't know how you got that out of what I was saying.
We go back to our roots.
I mean, is your roots conservative? That doesn't even make sense. What do you guys think? Do you think that TikTok is ruining the music industry? Like, do you think the music industry is getting too oversaturated? What do you guys think? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
See how she said that? Very demure, very mindful. And you can follow us at My Black Music Canada on Instagram, and you can visit our website as well, which is blackmusiccanada.com.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.